everyone, it's Philosophize here. I just finished finally unlocking all the achievements for Foundation here, and I felt inspired to make a video because I had to look up a lot of crap on how to figure certain parts out. So I thought I would do a quick video here of a new game and give some of the recommendations that I figured out as I was learning. So I'm going to play on FLUVIAL. It's really flat, lots of open land to build and sprawl. So here we go. I found this is a really fun game. Okay. Alright, so as you can kind of see here, super flat. I prefer to start on this hex here, and I like to slow everything down at the beginning, plop this village center down. So typically I put the village center closest to where I'm going to build my first little residential area. One of the things that I had figured out was to really separate where you're going to build residential versus where you're going to have industry. You want to kind of have them butted up against one another because you want your workers' homes and all their needs to be able to be fulfilled right around where they work. That way they'll be super productive. So let's go ahead and start that. Workplace and villager list are nice little things to have up here. And so here we go. Get a builder workshop out. And get some builders in there. Unlocks all these guys. And then we'll need a lumber camp immediately, a stone camp immediately, and kind of go from there. And then a gathering hut. So I like to put my initial camp over here up in the corner. Not only is it surrounded by trees, but you can see its red line effect is going to be away from where my initial residential places are going to be. So we'll start that, and we'll also get a stone cutter placed over here. Again, kind of want to place it away from the residential areas to start with, but you'll see how we'll build into residential over here. And might as well go ahead and get the gathering hut out. These guys you see don't have the red line, so they don't affect the residential areas. If we go ahead, where'd that guy go? There it goes. Alright, so we want that lumber camp to be built first. And you can just get some of this stuff laid out, but you can pause it, once you get it laid. Just easier because you can kind of see the layout that you're trying to go for here. Also, I like to put the sort by job. We'll always put the unemployed at the very bottom, so it's easy to see who you have to be able to work with. And we'll speed it up. Alright, got the lumber camp. Again, we're just going to get some timber going in here. Just an FYI, each industry can hold 50 units of whatever it produces. And then once you get a warehouse out, you can start putting 100 units per slot, and there's 4 slots. So get some extraction area going. Clear out some of these trees that it's surrounding. We'll also get the extraction area for the berries and the stone. Let's get out of that. Now let's get the stone cutter. That's the lumber camps. There we go. And we're going to increase the prioritizing on that and get the speed back up. And you'll see here at the beginning, because we only have 8 people to be working with, we're going to move some workers around as we need them. At the beginning, with only 8 to 15 people, you just need one person in the forger, so you can stock up on your wood, stock up on your stone, so you can get the Lord Manor built and get your first church built. Alright, so let's go ahead and... oh yeah, we gotta wait for the stone cutter. There we go. We'll add... take one of the builders out and add into the stone cutter, because we're going to need that stone for the well, as you can see here. And you're also going to need it for your initial church. Also, something to be thinking about, on the trade menu up here, we need 20 planks to unlock this neighboring city, and we are going to be purchasing tools from them right here. It will take 11 tools to build the smallest church available, and you can see here we only have 10. So we need to get a sawmill out. And again, you can see the red line. At the beginning, it kind of matters, but as you unlock things for decorative purposes, it will negate some of that industry red line there. So we'll start that. As you can see, the stone's coming in, so we're going to go ahead and unpause the well, and we'll actually prioritize that. Up here, our happiness is at 0, so we need to get that up to 100. In order to get happiness up, you need to give them basic needs. So the newcomers and the serfs, which are who we have right now, they need water, housing, and one type of food, actually berries specifically. So let's get the well. We're also going to lay out where the market's going to go. You can see the market is actually under the monument tab, meaning that you can kind of customize how you want to build it. So you'll place the little marker out in order to show where you're going to place it. The only one available right now is the food stall. That little white thing on there is eventually going to enable you to put some aesthetics around it, like a red tent. So orient that in the direction you're going to want that later. That costs cloth, and I don't want to use the cloth right now, but I will go ahead and get that started. So cloth is something that you're going to use for a stonemason hut, which gives you polished rock, and then also for training dummies, so you can start training an army, and that way you can get different items and gold, and it helps progress the game. Alright, so that well is finished, so you can see the happiness increased by a little bit. Get rid of that. And as soon as we get this market up, you'll see the happiness continue to rise. So I only got 2 builders right now, so I want them to focus primarily on the market, so we can get the berries being sold. This will also increase your income once you can sell berries to your villagers. Alright. We do need a granary, because this is something that took me a second to learn. You have to be able to deliver the berries, or really the granary is going to come grab the berries from the forger hut, take them back here, and then the market guy will come and grab berries from the granary. And that goes for all food, and then warehouses we'll talk about here in a little bit. Alright, so that market is complete. So notice I can put here that I want berries to be, and I don't want to add a villager yet because we need to get a guy in the granary first, but nonetheless that part is finished. I also like to toggle on the display zone so you can always see, especially with trees, if they have an area to actually cut down new trees. So this guy's waiting on 7 stone. Let's go ahead and finish that out. And we got a guy here for 5 stone, so it'll take just a little bit to be able to get enough stone to finish those. So, one of the things that I failed at, I kept getting into like 300 people or so, and then I would starve. And what I've learned is that this game is about patience. So if you want a plethora of food stored in granaries, and you want enough people working in the granary, because there's up to 4 slots you can put in here, and you want to use all 4 of those, so there's a constant stream of food going from the different production lines of food to the granary, and then again, so the marketers can actually grab that to feed the people. So the granary is almost finished here. Another point to make is once we can start laying residential areas out, you want the homes as close to where they're working as possible, so their downtime is shortened, which means their productivity is increased. So what I found is you'll see how we're going to start kind of making an inner circle. That would be like kind of the bullseye where the initial industry is going to be, and then we're going to start placing residential areas around in another larger circle, so they will build homes directly next to where they work. Alright, so that sawmill is up, but again, we only have so many people. Don't want to put anybody in there yet. As soon as this granary finishes up, there we go. Alright, so we're going to put berries here, and we're actually going to fill 2 slots because this will help later. And we'll also, we won't do that yet, but we're going to add fish and bread here after a bit. So let's take somebody off of the lumber camp because we don't need, we're actually maxed at 50. Take 2 guys off there. And we're going to place 1 in the granary. So we just got quest filled, and we're going to place the other one in the market. Now we basically just sit here and wait until the happiness increases. So they have water, they have food now, there is the industry stream here, and then that's going to unlock the church that they're going to need to finish off their initial happiness. And then basically it's rinse and repeat there until you start unlocking things. So this video I'll basically just take you through the beginning, getting the church built, and you can see how this will go up to 100. And then, depending on if this helps you guys, I'm more than glad to continue this game and continue to show how I built this out. And again, I use the kind of that circle method, where we'll go industry, housing, so on and so forth. One thing to mention is the levels here. As they work and do their job, they get better at it and they become more efficient at it. This will also eventually help you upgrade your novice, quote-unquote, soldiers into actual soldiers, and then those soldiers into knights. And that will allow you to have harder battles and get cooler rewards, and make the game more fun. Also, another point is down the road you'll build a monastery, and that's how you start to get luxury goods where you produce them. And monks can be upgraded into priors. But the key there is, it's difficult to do actually, and it takes a lot of time, but the prior needs all of its needs met, so water, housing, luxury, and clothing, and then a lot of time spent doing their job of whatever it is. So that was something that was kind of frustrating on figuring that part out. But again, like I said, if you guys like this video, then I can definitely do another one where you can kind of see the steps in the game. Okay, so now we're lacking housing. I'm going to slow this down a little bit. Get rid of all this. We unlock the church. So you'll see here, we now have what's called a residential zone. The bright green is desirability. So red is low desirability, you have average, and then high. So again, we want this to be close to their needs, which is the water and the food, but we also want to put it relatively close to where they're working at. So the church, I'm actually going to build right here. It's going to increase appeal, so I'm going to leave that open and just kind of do it right there to start with. The spot has to be large enough for them to want to build homes in it. Got a couple unemployed, so let's get 2 in carpenters. So we'll start converting the timber into planks, and then once we get 20 planks, we're going to open the first trade route. We will also go ahead and get the first church built. So again, because it's a monument, you just place out where it's the area it's gonna start in. So it's usually a good idea to have the church next to the well and to the food, again, so they can satisfy all of their basic needs quickly. So I'm going to build the smallest version of it to start with, and then we'll eventually add on to this. But you have the main core building, and you see you have to have a core. You have to have one door. I like this door, so we're going to place it in front. So again, here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, and then it will need a bell tower. Now we have all 3 of the requirements. You see what it's going to cost, how much it costs up front. We got enough gold, and so we'll go ahead and start that construction. And we'll get it sped back up here. So yeah, quite a bit of stone, quite a few planks, and like I mentioned, those tools we only have 10 of right now, and to build the smallest church initially you need 11. So we need planks as quick as possible to get to 20. And in fact, let's go ahead and pause that church so they don't start using the planks to build the church, because we're going to need that last tool to be able to complete it anyway. So you can see here the villagers started building their homes. They take 10 wood apiece in order to build and to upgrade down the road. So this is pretty close proximity. You can actually even see how far away from their workplace that they live. And if you think it's too far, create a new residential area once you unlock some tiles, and then destroy that home or kick them out of the home, and they'll rebuild closer. That was another kind of tip that I figured out going. So you can see also our extraction area is getting a little bit low, so we'll go ahead and bring this out a little bit more, and then we can left click to get rid of some of that part. And we're at 22, so let's come up here, we're going to unlock the trader out, and we're going to go to trading resources and scroll down to tools. We're going to buy until we reach a certain limit. I found that 20 to 25 is pretty good. And we're going to need a warehouse in order to store that. So we use that so we can unpause that, and they can continue to do it. If we come up here to the Estates tab, you can see here you have a labor, kingdom, and clergy. So this is for the people, for the king, and for the clergy, or for the monks. So just a sidebar here, you have the actual currency, if you would, of hammers, the currency of swords, the currency of piety, and then you have what's called splendor. So splendor is the requirement. Splendor you get from building something. So with labor, you get splendor from building up your Lord Manor, which is where you as the governor lives. And then you can earn these currency points by doing things for the kingdom, and later down the road your bailiff can increase them. So we have 4, we need 4, so we're going to go ahead and unlock the warehouse and the bailiff office. And we are going to get that warehouse built. Where's it at? There it is. So we can start getting tools in here. Like I mentioned, you have the industry, and this is red, so we want to kind of keep it away from where the housing is at. This church is going to increase desirability, which will kind of help negate that. Desirability matters because when you start upgrading your newcomers, which are the people, into serfs, which then go to commoners, which then go to citizens. And you can see here, newcomers, serfs, and that will allow them to spend more money, which will increase your money, which will allow you to do more things. So let's get that going. Let's speed up if we haven't. And we're actually going to pause this again, because again, we don't even have enough tools yet. So I want all of the materials and labor going towards building this warehouse, and then I'll unpause that again. And So with warehouses, just like granaries, they also have up to 4 slots for people to work. 4 is a lot at the beginning of the game. You really only need 1 or maybe 2 in each of them. As your town grows, and you need to make sure you have enough food, like a food stream, you will definitely want to increase those to 4 down the road. Alright, and here, because we unlocked the trade route, which was a quest, and we're starting to get tools in, we get a free territory. Territories typically cost 500 gold, so this first one is a free one. So we're going to scroll out here. I personally like to grab this one right next to it. You cannot get ones that are not adjacent to your current owned one. So we're going to get a free piece of land. Also a point to make is land actually gives you money, so you can tax this land and it just happens automatically, which will increase your income. This warehouse is getting pretty close to being built. We need some more stone. So let's get another guy over here. We had a free unemployed guy. When people pass by the town, they have 3 things that they require. You can come up here to click it. If you hover over immigration, it will tell you 1, how many days left until the next batch of people come by. So your happiness needs to be high, meaning all the people that currently live there need to have their needs met. The employment needs to be high, meaning that you don't have a ton of unemployed people. And in the residential space, it needs to be average to high, meaning there's enough housing spots open, / there's enough green space to actually build new homes. So we should get at least 1 or 2 people here. Let's get rid of some of this. And there's the warehouse. So just like the granary, they look very similar. We're going to get our unemployed person over here, and we're going to put in tools. And now that means that we can actually purchase, because they're selling it, purchase tools, as long as we have on here that we want to receive them and we want the amount to receive from them. So that's going to put that up to 25, and that's going to enable us to finish out the church, and I think that'd be a good stopping point for this one. So let's unpause that church. Show the speeds up. Good. So it still wants to create the Lord Manor, but we're not going to do that in this video. And so 1 of 3 people will come and visit you. You'll have a monk that will visit you. You'll have a horseman guy that comes and visits you, and then one other one that I can't think of right now. Typically, they'll show up to your Lord Manor or wherever you have your Great Hall. I waited too long, so she left, but normally it would be like, hey, give me 30 berries, and I'll give you some of this currency, whether you can choose whether you want labor currency, kingdom currency, or clergy currency. It's not a huge deal. They show up probably, I think, once a month. Come down here. Alright, so we got 1 more person in here. They'll show up here in a little bit. And we're probably going to put that person on, let's see, what do we need here? We'll put that person on timber, because you see we're low on timber. So we only got 1 dude working in there. We can switch out the 1 in the sawmill and put him back in lumber for now. Also, while we're just waiting for this church to finish up, there's that guy, so let's get him over in wood cutting as well. Usually 2 to 3 forager, or gathering huts rather, per 1 spot of berries. So you can see there's a spot of berries just kind of randomly throughout the map. And you'll eventually build little tiny residential areas around those, again, so they become very efficient and you have a good amount of food coming in. And they're, oh, not quite. Flex. Also worth noting that once they become very efficient, where their level goes up, you have 2 to 3 of them surrounding it, these will deplete. And then they'll replete basically every week or so. So make sure you you always have some other areas that are an attraction area, so that they can walk to them when they run out of the one that they're next to. And let's continue to go. So the money, don't let it freak you out at the beginning. Sometimes it'll show like minus 500. It's based on the week that this is calculating. So it'll go up and down, and money really starts coming in once you get a couple marketplaces up, and especially once you get clothing. And they'll start buying clothing, which will give you some money. You can also get it from trade, where you can come over here. You can see here they buy berries, they buy polished stone, planks, and wine. So typically I usually start selling planks from the beginning, and sorry, my dog is whining at me, and generate some income. Alright, well, since my dog is whining and that's going to be really annoying in the background, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. And we'll see about making another one. Thanks, guys. See ya.